You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
John Long, happy Resurrection Day.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, best day of the year, you know?
And it's also April Fool's Day.
It is April Fool's, which really Jesus pulled the biggest April Fool's joke. He was like, oh, I'm not dead, everybody. Guess what? You
Psych.
now have eternal life.
Psych.
Yeah. Yes. But, we get hung up on Jesus died on the cross sometimes. I feel like we don't put enough emphasis on the resurrection,
Right.
I mean, you hear a lot of Jesus died on the cross for your sins, but not enough like he rose again, which is really the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's at. So, yes, happy Easter to everyone who may be listening to this here in the next week. We hope you had a wonderful Resurrection Day.
And happy April Fool's Day as well.
Yes, right.
Do you have any,
really probably fits along with us a little,
yeah. Do you have any April Fool's Day pranks planned for your Easter celebration?
I don't yet, not yet, but we'll get something. My boys they enjoy April Fools. So
I was thinking maybe we'll go out in the backyard and hide eggs like we do every Easter, but this year, while some of the eggs will have candy, some of the other eggs will have bees.
Bees! Bees! Your firearms are useless against them!
I saw another thing where somebody was like, just tell your kids you've hidden eggs and let them look around and don't hide them at all.
Yeah.
So that may be what I do.
Well, I have a In-N-Out burger here that is suing a YouTube prankster who was posing as their CEO. What else happened this week?
Well, we got a man attacks McDonald sign after 30 cheeseburger order was rejected. And then we got our friend Mad Mike Hughes, the flat Earth rocket man, who's actually launched and went up in the air. So we got those two. Of course, I got some other big news I didn't even tell you about. But I just want to say I discovered this week that my last name, Long, in Chinese means dragon. Which,
really?
Yeah, really, really awesome. I feel like
Do you have any Chinese ancestry?
I don't at all that I'm aware of. Now, I was told one time someone thought I was Korean when I was driving in a van. Yeah,
That's got to be where that comes from.
I feel like I have very Korean hair, like it's dark,
right,
and straight and everything. So, but that was I can't remember her name. She used to go to church with this younger girl. But, she thought I was a Korean one time when I pulled up to church in the minivan. I was like, oh. She thought maybe we had like a missionary coming to speak. But, yeah, so, I don't know if that makes me a ninja or what now, but I'm going to try to be.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to try to refer to you as John Dragon from here on.
Right, yes.
That is bad.
Exactly, yes, yeah. So, yeah, I was very surprised, and I don't even know what made me Google that. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I started out looking at the ancestry of my last name because, as far as I know, we're English and French, and then that spiraled into a rabbit hole of name meanings, and then there's Chinese and it's dragon, and I feel like
awesome.
I'm proud of that. I'm gonna get a dragon.
Absolutely.
Get a dragon tattoo or something. Not really, Mom. I'm not getting a tattoo.
Bummer.
Yeah, I'm not a tattoo guy. Some people are. It's just not my style. Yeah, I don't like needles. Number one, that's the biggest disqualifier for me.
How many Facebook followers would we have to get before you tattooed a dragon on your back?
Oh, that is. Yeah, I would. Maybe not on my back. All right. Can I go backside like on the rump
there
area?
You go. Yeah.
If we got up to,
I'm sure Deidre would be totally cool with it. She'd think that was so hot.
If we hit 1,000 Facebook followers, I will get a dragon tattoo on my booty. All right, I will. I don't want to get it on anywhere where anybody will be able to see, like I'm at the beach or something like that. But I'll get a dragon tattoo on my booty for 1,000 Facebook followers, and I'm deathly afraid of needles.
And you have to like the podcast too.
You gotta like the podcast. You gotta follow the page. All right, and as you can tell, I'm stuffy and everything else. I refuse to go to the doctor because I don't like shots.
Right.
I just ride out whatever sickness I have. I'm that afraid of needles. Some people are afraid of snakes. I'm not afraid of snakes. I will pick up a snake, but I will not get a shot. the idea of a tattoo is scary to me. But if we hit those numbers, we need to set a time limit. I don't want like
4 years from now, we finally hit 1,000.
I gotta go get a.
And then somebody digs this up from
Right.
the ancient archives on Podbean, and they're like, all right.
Yeah, hold me to it or something. So let's say within a month. I feel like that's
a month. I was expecting you to say a week.
Nah, let's go a month. I'll give it a fair shot.
Yeah.
And if we can do it, if you're listening to this, you tell everybody that I'll get a tattoo of a dragon on my butt. And
which is your namesake.
Yeah, and we'll put a poll up in the Facebook group, and you can decide which cheek that you want it to go on. You know, right or left. Right, and I don't have a whole lot back there to work with for those who have never seen me. The Lord didn't bless me with a booty,
right. So
but we'll pick whichever one, and I'll get it done. All right.
Yeah, see, I could get like a tapestry on my rear end. So
like a whole.
It could be like a whole like Lord of the Rings like battle scene.
It looks like they're fighting over a valley. Okay, all right. Let's.
With that said,
yeah, we need to get into the show.
Yeah. How about this story? Have you ever heard of Ada?
Actually, I have. I've actually kept up with that when it was coming out and breaking.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat story. This comes from the New York Times, and the headline is, "Was a tiny mummy in the Atacama an alien? No, but the real story is almost as strange." If you click on the show notes, you can go see this picture of this little bitty mummy that was found in is a desert in Chile, wasn't it? The Atacama Desert, and it's like this little bitty. How long is it? About 6 inches? 5 or 6 inches?
Yeah, I mean, it's less than a foot, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the article says nearly 2 decades ago, the rumors began in the Atacama Desert of northern Chile. Someone had discovered a tiny mummified alien. An amateur collector exploring a ghost town was said to have come across white cloth in a leather pouch. Unwrapping it, he found a 6-inch long skeleton. Despite its size, the skeleton was remarkably complete. It even had hardened teeth. And yet there were striking abnormalities. It had 10 ribs instead of the usual 12. It had giant eye sockets, and it had a long skull that ended in a point.
Huh.
And if you see this thing, it really does look like this little bitty.
It's definitely alien looking.
Yes, it totally looks like an alien. Ada, as the remains have came to be known, ended up in a private collection, but rumors continued, fueled in part by a UFO documentary in 2013 that featured the skeleton. On Thursday, a team of scientists presented a very different explanation for Ata, one without aliens, but intriguing in its own way. Ada's bones contained DNA that not only shows she was human, but that she belonged to the local population. What's more, the researchers identified in her DNA a group of mutations in genes related to bone development. Some of these mutations might be responsible for the skeleton's bizarre form, causing a hereditary disorder never before documented in humans.
Wow.
So this little itty-bitty person...
Yeah, no, so the guy who found that was like super convinced it was an alien. Like was telling everybody in the world, I found an alien. So I'm sure he's disappointed. I can't remember his name, but he was like some Chilean doctor or something like that, or archaeologist that found it. So...
And then that documentary they mentioned, I think the documentary is Serious.
Yeah.
Which it was on Netflix for a while. I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
But
I don't have a whole lot of time to block off to watch a documentary.
That's true.
So.
And if I do watch a documentary, it's usually going to be on something. To be fair, I have watched the occasional UFO documentary, but it's usually going to be something true crime related for me personally.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go all into. I mean, there's only so much ancient aliens and stuff like that I can watch. You know?
Right.
I mean,
dare I say it, it's almost kind of racist when people say the pyramids were so complex. How could Africans have done that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And it's not that complicated.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's really cool, and especially if they're standing today.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
I mean, we're just stacking rocks.
Blocks.
Yeah. Right. We're just stacking stuff on top of each other. And they're like, well, they had to have advanced trigonometry or whatever to line them up. And I'm like, well, I mean, the stars are the stars.
Right.
And it feel like you could do that with minimal effort. Well, not minimal effort, but with a little bit of planning.
If you've got an entire slave population doing everything you tell them, and then you at the same time you've got these really smart guys,
right,
which mathematics is nothing new. Mathematics has been around.
Been around for a long time. Yeah, really since the beginning.
Right.
1 + 1 is always equal 2. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and if really from that part of the world, the Arabics, really the Moors brought us, a lot of our modern day math.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could see it being
the Dark Ages was dark for us,
right,
but not so much for them.
No, they were making all kind of advancements.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the Egyptians and their construction has kind of fallen off after maybe, I don't know, the Exodus or something.
Right.
Didn't see a whole lot of stuff getting built after that period of time, but I'm not an Egyptologist, although I would love to go to Egypt. It's really one of the only places in the world that I really want to visit that I haven't already visited. So,
well, anyway, they
sorry,
no,
a
fine.
little tangent there.
They managed to do what they call a DNA autopsy.
All right.
It says the scientists eventually managed to reconstruct much of Ada's genome. She was a girl they found and most closely related to the indigenous Chileans. She was also had a substantial amount of European ancestry, so that's kind of neat.
Wow.
The scientists have not carried out any precise dating of the skeleton, so they can't say exactly when she lived, but her European heritage suggested it was sometime after Chile was colonized in the 1500s.
Wow.
So not all that long ago.
No, not at all.
She has some kind of European heritage,
well,
and assuming that it was when they were around that area after
right,
the Spanish conquistadors and whatnot came over here.
Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to clone her.
Yes.
I mean, Jurassic Park style.
And then take her on a countrywide tour
Yes,
and
right,
charge people $5 to take pictures.
County fairs all over the southeast. She would make a living.
While her elongated head was striking, it wasn't the strangest feature of Ada's skeleton. Despite being the size of a human fetus, about the length of a pin, her bones were developed in some ways as much as those of a 6-year-old.
Huh.
So she was, I don't know how old she was, but she was a fully formed little girl, 6 inches tall, walking around. Almost like, remember that book, The Littles, that we had to read when we were in school?
Yes, you're
like
right.
a little.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Not an alien, a 6-inch tall,
really
little human person.
Okay, up next, we have our Flat Earth Rocket Man, and he finally did it. Mad Mike Hughes, the rocket man who believes the Earth is flat, propelled himself about 1,875 feet into the air Saturday before a hard landing in the Mojave Desert.
Awesome.
Yeah, way to go, Mike.
Way to go,
Mike. I don't think you got the height you need to verify your claims, but you still did it. Here from this article, which is from Popular Mechanics, it says, he finally went up, just like the self-taught rocket scientist always pledged he would. He came back down in one piece, too, a little dinged up, and his steam-powered vessel a little cracked up. Still, mission accomplished for a guy more daredevil than engineer, who drew more comparison to the cartoon character Wile E. Coyote from his critics than he did to iconic stuntman Evel Knievel. Mad Mike Hughes, the rocket man, who believed the Earth is flat, by the way, propelled himself 1,875 feet into the air Saturday before a hard landing. He told the Associated Press that outside of an aching back, he's fine after the launch near Amboy, California. So the launch in this desert town, which is about 200 miles outside of L.A., was originally scheduled in November. If you remember, we covered it a while back. It was scrubbed several times due to logistical issues. He had trouble getting permits and mechanical.
BLM, they were giving him the runaround.
Right, yes. BLM, that's Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter.
That's right.
And mechanical problems kept popping up. But the 61-year-old limo driver converted a mobile home into a ramp and modified it to launch from a vertical angle so he wouldn't fall back to the ground on public land. For months, he's been working on overhauling his rocket in his garage. And it looked like Saturday might be another string of cancellations. The wind was blowing and the rocket was losing steam. Ideally, they wanted 350 PSI for maximum thrust, but it was dropping to 340. Here his friends Waldo Stakes says, I told Mike we could try to keep charging it up and get it hotter, but he said no. So after 3 p.m. Pacific time, and without a countdown, Hughes' rocket soared into the sky. I wonder if he wasn't fully prepared.
That's kind of disappointing that,
I wonder if
you go through all this and the countdown just makes it so exciting.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe he's like, all right, Waldo, start the countdown, and Waldo's like 10, and then it just takes off.
Yeah. You know, if I was going through, which I would never do this, but if I was, I would just go back and edit in a countdown.
Right, yes.
You know, just count back 10 seconds and edit it in, and then put it on YouTube.
Now, his buddy Waldo Stakes here speculates or estimates that Mad Mike went about 350 miles per hour before pulling his parachute. So that's hauling boogie, you know? That's definitely hauling boogie. And he pulled his parachute. He was dropping too fast, so he had to deploy a second one. And he landed with a thud, and the rocket's nose broke in 2 places like it was designed to do. So there's a YouTube video of this if anybody wants to check it out.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. As Mad Mike said, it says this thing wants to kill you 10 different ways. He had an altimeter in his cockpit to measure his altitude, and he said this thing will kill you in a heartbeat. Am I glad I did it? He went on. Yeah, I guess. I'll feel it in the morning. I won't be able to get out of bed. At least I can go home and have dinner and see my cats tonight. Which sounds like me after every night of drinking in college. So
see my cats tonight?
Let me go home and see my cats. I won't be able to move in the morning, but at least I did.
Oh, man.
So he got permission to launch on land owned by Albert Okura, who bought Amboy in 2005 for $435,000.
That's like a ghost town, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. So like an old mining town.
That'd be neat to own like your entire town.
Right, yeah. You just mayor for life. You know?
If anybody out there wants to give Earth Oddity a deserted ghost town,
deserted town
we will
somewhere around
gladly
here,
accept it.
Yeah, we will take it.
As long as you're willing to pay taxes on it.
He says Mike branded us as Rocket Town. It was amazing. So he's proud of what, I guess he's put Amboy on the map. You know, for this guy.
Absolutely.
So it's been a big undertaking for Hughes, and you know, naysayers, of course, have been posting his picture with Wile E. Coyote strapped to a rocket. Tired NASA astronaut Jerry Langer said he hoped that he doesn't blow up something, and rocketry, as our private space companies found out, isn't as easy as it looks, and that's a very good point to make. You know,
nothing that you do in your life is whatever, no matter how difficult it is, it's not rocket science. You know.
So Mike here closes and says, he says, "Do I believe the Earth is shaped like a frisbee? I believe it is." And he said, "Do I know for sure? No. That's why I want to go up into space." So that's his project for down the road.
Good for him. Yeah.
He wants to build a raccoon, a rocket that is carried into the atmosphere by a gas-filled balloon, then separated from the balloon and lit. That's actually sounds like a pretty good plan. Let's lift it up there and then set it off. That cuts down some of your thrust distance so you can get higher up. So, So the raccoon is his next big project, and he says, "My story's really incredible. It's got a bunch of storylines. The garage built thing. I'm an older guy. It's out here in the middle of nowhere, plus flat Earth. The problem is it brings out all the nuts also, people questioning everything. It's the downside of all this. So his future plans are simple. Fill out the paperwork and run for governor." That's no joke, Mad Mike said. He wants to do it. So you're looking at possibly your next governor of California, Mad Mike Hughes here, who looks like a cool dude to hang out with if you've seen his picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude's got a nice little haircut, and he's just into doing his thing.
I will rock a Mad Mike for governor t-shirt.
Who wouldn't?
From now until I can't wear it anymore.
What if we start backing him and we can get him on as a guest to talk about policy issues and things like that? So
we need to do that.
You know, Mad Mike for governor.
We'll research that out.
Yeah.
We definitely need to give him an opportunity to come on Earth Oddity and announce his candidacy.
That's right. Yeah. And to speak, you know, what you believe to all of our dozens and dozens of listeners.
Again, I believe the Earth is cube-shaped, but
I'm an oblique spheroid guy myself.
We can agree to disagree. And this dude sounds cool. I mean, I could not build a rocket in my garage and shoot up.
No, not at all.
How high did he get? Was it 1,800 feet?
1,875, which
we do want to point out to the listeners that he could have gotten better data if he would have just taken a plane over to Dubai and went up the, how do you pronounce this? The Burj Khalifa building.
Yes.
It's currently the tallest building in the world, and its total height is 2,722 feet. Mm-hmm. So if he would have just went up into the top of that building, he would have gotten.
Yeah, he could have seen.
He would have gone higher.
I mean,
and the plane would have been higher than
I
that.
think 30,000, 40,000. I don't know what planes cruise at, but
as a stunt, that's pretty cool. Which I kind of have this sneaking suspicion that a lot of this is he's just a stunt man,
right? Yeah,
and he just wanted to grab some headlines.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you're right there.
Which good for him. If that's his plan,
it may propel him to governor.
It may do it.
I mean, I would say the people in California have made some questionable political calls in the past, so I wouldn't rule Mad Mike out.
Right?
I'd like to hear what he has to say. Like where do you stand on economic policies and environmental policies, and let's see where it's all fleshed out. So Mad Mike, maybe we'll try to get you on the show.
Would he? Do you think he would run for the Flat Earth Party? Do you think that would be his political party?
Maybe so. Maybe so. Yes. Maybe so. But yeah, I feel like Mad Mike was really just trying to get some publicity in this whole deal for not only his. I mean, like I was saying earlier before we got on air, someone will come along and be like, "Let me give you more money to make a better rocket or a raccoon," as he says.
I would kick in $5 if he had a Kickstarter,
a GoFundMe, whatever. Yeah. Which raccoon's a pretty good name for a band, Now that I think about it, like live at the booth this week, Raccoon.
They could play his launch party.
That's right. Yeah. So, I feel like Mad Mike has some ulterior motives other than just finding out if the Earth is flat, which. There are people who have been in outer space before who say it's not. So, I don't know. Of course, those who don't believe that the Earth is round say that's all fake and those guys are just lying anyway. So,
right.
I guess we just have to find out ourselves.
I have never been into space, so I certainly don't know.
Yeah.
I will say that if all this is like a big conspiracy, dude, they have
pulled a big one.
They have done their own work.
Yes. Yeah. That's
4.0.
Yeah.
Our next story here comes from CNET, and it is In-N-Out Burger sues YouTube prankster for posing as the CEO.
Oh, wow.
Which this is an interesting article because I don't know. I mean, you can sue anybody for anything in this country, so long as you have lawyers who can pursue this.
Right.
I tell you what, I've seen a lot of pranks on YouTube, and it's almost like this is overdue in some ways.
Come on, In-N-Out. It sounds like you're being a little harsh about this.
Anyway, it says here, while April 1st may be an ideal day to pull pranks, you probably don't want to try anything at In-N-Out Burger restaurants if you still want to eat there. The California-based fast food chain filed a restraining order on Friday in Los Angeles Superior Court against Cody Roeder, otherwise known as Troll Munchies on YouTube.
Troll Munchies, all right.
Troll Munchies. Roeder allegedly walked into two different Southern California In-N-Out burgers, one in Van Nuys on March 13th. Apologies to any California listeners if I didn't get that right, and I probably didn't. The other in Burbank, March 14th, posing as the popular fast food chain CEO. Roeder allegedly berated customers. He took burgers from diners' hands, demanded a taste test from the kitchen, and called the food garbage, according to the Orange County Register.
Wow.
I would have been aggravated if this dude's trying to take my burgers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat.
I mean, even if you are the CEO.
Yeah.
I
paid for that. That's mine now.
I laid down $7 for that. I'm going to be eating it.
The videos depicting both incidents at In-N-Out Burger were posted on March 14th on the Troll Munchies YouTube channel, but have since been taken down. We have recently seen an increase of visitors to our stores who are not customers, but instead are intentionally disruptive and who then try to promote themselves through social media. Arnie Weisinger, Executive Vice President at In-N-Out Burger, said in a statement, "These visitors have unfortunately used deceit, fraud, and trespass to their own advantage, and in each instance they have attempted to humiliate, offend, or otherwise make our customers or associates uncomfortable."
Wow.
So he's really going after him here.
Sounds serious.
Yeah. The lawsuit seeks damages of more than $25,000 from Roeder.
Well, that's chump change for In-N-Out, but yeah.
But that's a lot.
I bet you for Roeder, he's like, oh man, I really messed up with this prank.
I know if somebody was wanting $25,000 from me and I got to get a lawyer on top of that,
You'd just be out of luck, you know. I mean, if you're suing me for $25,000, I was like, I don't know what you're going to get. I have nothing that's worth $25,000 to sell you. I could pull up everything I have and sell it, and I probably would still fall short.
The Troll Munchies YouTube channel is full of videos of rotor trolling women, usually trying to pick them up, as well as pranking hackers and random people on the street. Neither In-N-Out Burger nor Troll Munchies immediately responded to a request for comment.
So I get what they're
serious.
I get what In-N-Out saying is like, well, number one, you're hurting our brand, and number two, you are building a brand based off of us. So you know, like I can't go and we can't put In-N-Out Burger stuff, logo on Earth Oddity stuff, you know, because we would have to.
Or like if Earth Oddity, if we started recording every single week in, I don't know, Taco Casa,
right?
And we started, selling
live from Taco Casa,
and started selling, T-shirts, Earth Oddity brought to you by Taco Casa.
So I get it now, and I mean, if the guy had been doing something that was a little less malicious, I would say. You know, where he was like, maybe just going in and being funny, like, oh, well, telling a customer, well, you own this franchise now or whatever. Instead of, berating customers and taking food away from him. Maybe he could have gotten away with it. But if you're going in and giving everybody a hard time, I wouldn't let that happen either. I don't know that I'd lawsuit you. They just fist fight you out in a parking lot or something. But I don't know that I would get a lawyer involved. But really all they're going to do is just scare this guy into saying he won't do it again, get him to sign some agreement, and it'll be all over with.
And there may not be a Troll Munchies after this.
Yeah, may not.
Depending on how angry they are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It'll have to be,
I mean, it makes, on one side it does make sense,
no
but it does sound
or something.
It does like sued munchies.
Yeah,
it does make sense that why I can see why they're doing it, as opposed to just some dude in there doing lighthearted pranks. He's actually causing trouble and berating staff members and customers and stuff, and you can't let that happen if you own.
I was gonna say, you owned a restaurant.
I did.
What would you do if people were just coming in and screaming at your customers and saying he was your boss?
I would probably fist fight them in the parking lot. I mean,
yeah,
they might beat me up, but that seems like to be the easiest.
He wouldn't come back.
Right, yeah.
Even if he did win, he's not going to come back.
I don't know. What if he just bullies me into doing it all the time?
If you get one good shot,
right,
he's going to take that crap right on down to Taco Mama.
Well, I had a guy who worked for me for 10 years who was also a bouncer at night at bar. He actually is the general manager of the Houndstooth Bar, which I know most people listen to this are Baptists, so you don't go to bars. But if you're ever in a bar, for all our Methodists and Presbyterian listeners, say hi to Brad. He's the manager, and so he usually handled all my heavyweight work because we had people come in and cause trouble at times. We were down in the bar district. You get a few drunk people, so Brad he actually enjoyed fighting, so he was never one to shy away from any potential physical conflict.
Right.
So he's one of those people that you're like. He fights for fun. So
right.
He used to be a professional wrestler, by the way.
For real?
Yes. So they wrestled in Georgia, a tag team called Alabama Attitude, and you can YouTube them. So
was
Brad,
it Takeoff what was the one?
I don't know.
Do you remember what I'm talking? Okay, obviously not the WWE, but what was the white trash version?
The ones that used to wrestle in the gyms
that
around
the ICP
here?
was bought into. Who were they?
Oh man, I don't remember.
They were selling their DVDs at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
During the Howard Stern show or whatever.
Yeah, it was a smaller regional thing like that. We wrestled at the National Guard Armory and stuff.
Right.
And so he would go over there and get beat up. Come back with strap marks on his back where they had a leather strap match and you had to whip the loser and everything.
Dang.
And he did that for fun. So I never worried about anything while he was there. So if anybody got a little testy, I would be like, "Hey, Brad." And then his second job was beating up drunk college kids who were wanting to do.
Did he ever come up with a discrepancy on his paycheck?
No.
I bet if he did, you'd fix that real quick.
And I would say I count Brad, whose wrestling name was TC Carnage, by the way.
TC Carnage.
I count him as one of
awesome.
my dearest friends that I've ever met. And I don't say that because he would crush my skull. I say that because he's an excellent young man. One of the most honorable, honest people I've ever met in my life. But We had a few people that he had to run out. So if this dude came in here, I would just into my restaurant, I would sick Brad on him for sure. Yeah. I got another restaurant here. This is from Sutherland, Oregon. Man attacks McDonald's sign after order of 30 cheeseburgers was rejected. Police say a 37-year-old man, too old to be doing this, by the way, was far from loving it when workers at a McDonald's restaurant in Oregon refused to make him 30 double cheeseburgers and so he tried to destroy the golden arches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to put this out there.
Yeah.
He was wrong. He should not have tried to destroy the golden
Yeah.
arches and attack the store.
Right.
But why wouldn't they just make him the cheeseburgers?
I don't know. And the other thing I thought is Oregon is one of our legal marijuana states. He must have had a real bad case of munchies.
He must have troll munchies.
But he's apparently from a good Christian home. His name is Jedediah Ezekiel Fulton, who was arrested on March 16th.
Maybe he's on Rumspringa.
On suspicion of second-degree disorderly conduct, second-degree criminal trespass, and second-degree criminal mischief and harassment. Authorities say Fulton became upset when the fast food restaurant in the western Oregon town of Sutherland declined to make his order. Police say he destroyed a banner and then attacked the arches. Southern Police Department say he also grabbed a person's shirt. A witness who was afraid for that person's life pulled out a gun. Yeah, it's not clear.
Got serious.
It's not clear from online records if Fulton has an attorney. Now, if you look at Fulton here in his photo, if you go to the show links, he looks like a person that you would imagine would beat up a McDonald's sign because he couldn't get his order. So I just don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't make the order. I know if he had ordered 30, milkshakes, the milkshake machine would have been broken. So maybe they should have just told him the double cheeseburger machine's broken, or they're cleaning it or whatever.
Right. That shake machine is always broken.
That's like
what is the deal?
That's a universal McDonald's joke. I've seen it online from Britain. I've seen it online, all over the United States, of course. But everybody, you go to get a shake, it's broken.
Right.
Never have it fixed. I don't know what the deal is. So I like to put a shout out to my friend Rick, who owns several McDonald's. Right. Maybe we can get an answer for this. We
need to call him up and ask him. What
I will
is the
say,
deal?
in case he's happening to listen to this, I've never been turned down for a milkshake at one of his restaurants. So,
hey, there you go.
And
that's something. You need to hit me up with a list of things.
Yeah, I can tell you which ones I'm a milkshake aficionado anyway, so I love milkshakes. As you can tell by looking at me, I don't have my normal 6-pack, and that's largely due to milkshakes. But I would like to know, usually McDonald's signs are pretty high up in the air, so you can see the arches for miles around. Right. It's like a steeple of, unhealthy food. And
you can see it from miles away on the interstate.
So I don't know, if he was trying to get one of the exit signs or something, but how do you get it? That's what it had to be, right?
That's what it had to be, but I really prefer to think he climbed up that thing like King Kong climbing the Empire State Building.
Or maybe hooked a chain to it and he tried to pull it over with his car
with his pickup truck.
Yeah, right. Yes.
With this big old
and he looks like a guy
F-150.
He looks like a guy who might have a jacked up truck with a Salt Life sticker on the back of it. Definitely has a neck tattoo. So usually you start getting the old neck and face tattoos, you've given up on life anyways. Right. So, no offense to any of our listeners who may have that. I'm sure you are the exception to that rule. But I've noticed when you start tatting up on the head that you're done. You've decided to check out of normal society and enter into your own world.
Yeah.
Where things like ordering 30 double cheeseburgers and destroying the golden arches seems like a reasonable choice to make. So anyways, that comes from Oregon. Once again, proving that rednecks exist everywhere, not just the South.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jedediah Ezekiel, whatever your last name was.
Man, I bet. Let me think. What could he have been doing with the cheeseburgers?
I don't know. Maybe he had a little league baseball team he was coaching. He wanted to feed all of them or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something nice. Maybe he was going to, here it is, he's going to break into a Masonic lodge.
Yes. Yes.
This is a callback to one of our previous stories. And he was
going to hand them out to homeless people,
yeah.
and then he was going to strip down and crawl up into the organ.
Crawl into an organ naked. Oh, yes. So maybe that's it.
Oh, man.
Maybe he's a former Mason, disenfranchised Mason, whatever they called him.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Whatever happens when you lose your Masonic privileges, powers. I don't know what you call it. I'm not up on my Masons like I should be.
Well, our next article, headline here, this new Tampa restaurant only serves seafoods. And that's not sea as in food from the sea, but it's food that literally starts with the letter C.
I gotta feel like chicken's a big menu item.
Probably. Seminole Heights, a restaurant serving only foods that start with one letter, seems hard to come by, but Dana Hayter has found a way to succeed with all things beginning with the letter C at the new Sea House located at 605 North Florida Avenue in Seminole Heights.
I'll check it out when I'm down there.
Right. The restaurant, which overtook a transmission shop, held 3 soft openings.
3 soft openings.
3 soft openings.
Okay.
And then they just recently celebrated their grand opening on March 24th.
All right. Hold on. Let's stop right here. And let's see how many foods we can name that start with a C. All right. We got chicken. Custard. Carrots. Let's see. Hold on. We have a guest right here. Do you have one? Collard greens.
That's a good one.
Very good. I'm about out after that.
There is celery.
Very good.
But no peanut butter.
Yeah. No, it can't have peanut butter. Cheese. Oh, that was an obvious one. So you go to whole, or I wonder if you can only do cheddar. You know, like
right.
Yeah.
Only do cheddar cheese.
No Gouda or anything else. Any other, Libby? You have any other seafoods?
Hudson, what's a food that starts with C?
Carrots, you already said that. Come back to me.
Okay.
You passing?
Pass.
So, anyways, we're recording here at the house today, and so
right.
My children are, especially Libby, has been hanging all over us the whole episode. For any pauses, bumps, anything else you hear, it's her. So anyway, I'm sorry. So we got 4. Maybe it goes into more detail. That's why I want to stop you now.
All right. The Seminole Heights native owner said that some of her favorite foods start with a C, and when she decided to open a restaurant, many were skeptical, but after a long road trip of brainstorming ideas, she was amazed at how much could be sold with a C that just ran with the idea.
Huh.
I like to think that somehow this ties into Sesame Street, you know.
Today's menu is brought to you by the letter C.
If they don't go down to Tampa and shoot an episode of Sesame Street at the Sea House,
That's right. You got to.
you got to.
What?
Cow beef.
That's good. I was thinking too, you could probably put Cajun in front of everything. Oh, we got Cajun rice. You know,
yeah.
Cajun beans.
And cheesecake.
Yeah, right. Yes. Or Cajun curl spices.
There you go.
You know, maybe that's what she's doing.
She could definitely sell Cajun curl.
A ton.
Yeah.
Hudson took it to school with him this week.
It's delicious.
He took a bag of chips with it on it to school.
The goal is to definitely stay true to the roots in what Seminole Heights stands for, which is a high degree of pride, sense of ownership, and community, but also bring something that Seminole Heights currently doesn't have to the area, which I suppose is a restaurant that sells
based around the letter C. Yeah.
only C stuff. The Sea House focuses on the big 3, as Hadar calls it, which includes champagne, charcuterie, and cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Oh, man. How can I miss that one?
But has a full menu of brunch and dinner items that start with a C, featuring community shareables, which is their word for appetizers, such as crab cakes, Canadian fries, and calamari, and other entries like cheesy mac, chili, both classic and vegetarian.
Chili, that was a good one.
Caesar and California Cobb salads.
Cheeseburgers. Yeah.
Chickpea burger.
For the vegans.
Caprese sandwiches. Which, do you know what a caprese sandwich is?
I don't.
I had to look this
Is
one
that
up.
not like the pants that our wives wear that are a little too long to be shorts and a little too short to be?
That was my first thought as well. But apparently this is it's usually salads, but they're foods that have fresh mozzarella cheese, basil, and tomatoes.
Okay.
And it's also a really fun word to say, caprese.
Caprese. Take it, caprese. Hey, we just lost power at my house, and it's back on.
It's back on.
And there goes my doorbell, which goes off when the power goes off and comes back on. Just so you know. What's that, baby?
Capri Sun.
Capri Sun.
Capri Sun. You can have a
Beautiful.
Capri Sun.
Cheetos.
Cheetos. Okay, all right, that's enough,
We got
guys.
it rolling now. In addition to food, they offer wine such as Chardonnay, cocktails, craft beer.
Yeah.
Not regular beer.
No, it's got to be craft
It's gotta
beer.
be craft
A lot of
beer.
Calvinists hanging out there, I guess.
Yeah. Which just happen to start with a C, and they sell desserts like cupcakes, cinnamon rolls, croissants, chocolate, and cookies from its standalone bakery. Hader says the C House also sells retail items such as coasters, candles, cocktail napkins, classic wood pieces, not the
Classic,
regular
no.
ones, but
Classic.
classic wood
Okay.
pieces, and more. Prices range anywhere from $4.50 to $13, which is pretty affordable.
Yeah.
And the Sea House operates Monday through Friday from 3 to 11 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays. They operate from brunch from 10 to 2, a limited menu until 5, and serve dinner from 5 to 12. So they're open late night.
Yeah.
For more information, visit their Facebook page at facebook.com/the.c.house.tampa.
Ooh.
So-
All right. Marketing team should have went with a little easier
I know.
thing.
Should have just been the Sea House.
Yeah. Should just
But
want to go the Sea House, all one word.
I can't imagine there's a whole lot of sea
No,
houses
I
out
can't
there that
either.
have that already.
I can't either.
I mean,
Yeah.
we really didn't have any trouble getting Earth Oddity
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
when we
that was-
started this podcast.
Exactly. But yeah, that's an inventive menu. It's kind of like we have a place here in town called Five. They offer 5 menu items every night.
Right.
And, it varies night to night. But this next story, a little bizarre. It comes out of Atlanta, Local 21 News. The headline here is Police Say Mom Crashes SUV into Pole to prove to kids God is real.
Okay. If I'm a kid in the backseat, I'm like, okay, how does this prove God's real again?
Well, I'd be like, Mom, can we not just go to that movie? God is real.
Or maybe just listen to the Jesus Take the Wheel song.
Maybe that's what she said. Like,
I like to think that was on the radio when it happened.
you Philistine children, listen to this song. An Atlanta area mom was arrested after authorities say she deliberately crashed her vehicle into a pole to prove to her kids that God is real. The SUV is seen on footage going northbound across the southbound lanes of Peachtree Industrial and drove into a concrete pole. 25-year-old Bakari Warren and her 2 children, ages 5 and 7, were inside the vehicle during the time of the accident. The officers asked the children if they thought she crashed the vehicle on purpose. They responded by saying, yeah, because she turned. Her eyes were closed and she was saying, blah, 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 I love God. So she was apparently Pentecostal, speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
Norcross police say that Warren did tell the children to buckle up their seatbelt. So we trust God, but you still need to get your seatbelt on, which not that different than me when I drive. Just before she went across the road, officers arrested Warren right after she got out of the SUV. Sergeant Ed Budinsky, one of the greatest names of all time, said, when the officers asked the driver of the vehicle what happened, her first statement to the officers was to check her Facebook and it would explain what happened.
Which I just want to say that I did check her Facebook before we started podcasting, and I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I feel like maybe she retained counsel and they were like, you need to delete your God.
Maybe.
God's going to keep me from crashing to a pole rant or whatever you
She
got
probably
on there.
got to it before I did.
Yeah. 25-year-old Bakari Warren and her 2 children were both, of course, inside the vehicle at the time of the accident. And, police says she gave the same reasons as her children to prove that God will protect them. Which,
Check.
I mean, I will say they're all still alive. Ward has been charged with 2 counts of child cruelty and is being held on a $22,000 bond. You know, it's people like this that keep folks from joining up at church.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, Bakari, I'm glad you have faith. I really am. I will also say that God gave you a brain and
Yes.
the ability to deduct and reason consequences that will happen to you if you were to crash your car into a pole to prove that He is real. I mean, can we just not get a Bible tract and hand it out or something?
You know, you can't prove
Right.
to anybody
Yes.
that God is or is not real.
Right.
It's faith.
Yeah, right.
You know, so that's number one. Number two, Jesus, He would not throw Himself off of the temple
Yeah.
because it is written, "You shall not test the Lord your God."
Exactly.
So-
Man, what a brilliant point.
And number three, does God not have enough to worry about
Yeah,
with
right.
Trump as our president and North Korea threatening nuclear
We
war?
got Iran's getting fired up.
And now
too.
he's got to put that on pause to
Yeah.
go protect his lady who's just going to drive closing her eyes because she wants to prove he exists. How about your circulatory system? Go do some research on
Yeah.
how complex that is.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, I feel like, you know, when once it was all over with, the guy was like, "Oh, man, Bakari's at it again." You know, like turns around to St. Peter or whoever is like, "Look, can you guys
Can one of
get
y'all go deal with
Yeah.
this?
Look, I got a lot on my plate right now." And I don't say that to diminish the omniscience and omnipresence of God in any way. It's just a joke. But, you know, I mean, you just feel like if you put human emotions to God, which, of course, you can't really do that.
We are made in His image, though.
We are. And, you know, I feel like He's had a lot of level of frustration with just me personally over the years. But I've never once.
Maybe next time I mess up and I have to go to the Lord and confess, I'm going to be like, well, at least I'm not driving with my eyes closed.
Hey, Lord, I know I made a misstep here, but I haven't ran my car into a pole.
To prove you're real.
I'll say Billy Graham led a lot of people to the Lord, and he was not crashing his car to do it, you know. So, I mean, can we just get the kids into a good Sunday school program
Right.
or into a good, you know, how about Vacation Bible School's coming up just a couple of months away? Let's come on, Bakari. Let's get them into that. I'm gonna tell you what. I would say if I was her kid, I would be like, you know, God made my mama crazy. You know? I mean, that's really what the impression she left on a serious level. You know, like for the rest of your life, you're gonna think, oh man, my mama is, you know, she went through this God thing, and I don't know, but I mean, I guess the Lord did protect her. He protects the dumb and stupid
That's
every
true.
day, including myself. But definitely not the way you want to go spreading the gospel. I'll just
true.
say that. Yeah, leading your family.
Oh, man.
But hey, I'm sorry, Bakari. That rhymes, but you know, it's just you got your motives all wrong here. So it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, the next story we have here is Oklahoma man captures a 6-foot rattlesnake before suffering a heart attack 20 minutes later.
Huh, okay.
Which I'd like to say good for him. I don't
Yeah.
know if I would have made it 20 minutes,
I mean,
personally.
it'll get your heart rate up.
An Oklahoma man's day of hunting snakes almost turned deadly when he captured a 6-foot rattlesnake, but not because he was bitten by the venomous serpent.
Huh.
Dennis Crow was catching rattlesnakes with friends Steve Booker and Robert Lutsky on Saturday for an upcoming rattlesnake festival in Apache, which sounds like a blast. I've never been to a rattlesnake
Yeah.
rodeo. I've always wanted to go.
They have one down in Opp every year in Opp, Alabama, and
Maybe we
I've
need to
never
go cover
been.
that.
But yeah, maybe we need to go down there
We
like
need to go cover it.
on site. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
from the rodeo. We just do a bunch of interviews.
The 51-year-old told the 51-year-old from Cyril told Fox News the weather was perfect, explaining the snakes begin to come out of their dens mid-spring when the days are longer and the weather is warmer. Crow said he gave up deer hunting after he went snake hunting about 5 years ago. It's a rush. My adrenaline gets going. Crow said his pals were searching for serpents near the Wichita Mountains in the southwestern part of the state. At first, they weren't having much luck. But then, as Crow was walking through tall grass on top of a hill, it felt like someone punched me, he recalled. A rattlesnake popped out and grabs me on the side of the boot. Crow said. I jumped a little bit, and I turned to my side, and I saw that both of his fangs were stuck in my boot. So, daggum, that's crazy. Crow was photographed and recorded holding up the 6-foot snake on the group's Facebook page, KSNAK Live Coverage, shortly before he began having trouble breathing.
Wow.
So, check this out. Now, he's holding the snake to the camera, so it looks like it's 8 foot long.
That's your standard.
But that's still huge.
That's your standard snake, pose. Let's get it as close to the lens
as possible. That's how you make your snake look bigger. Right. Same for you fish. Hold it in front of you like that.
Yeah, same for fish, too, if you ever go fishing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, he says he became wobbly and short of breath. He looked up at Steve Booker, and he told him, "We need to leave." And I thought it had something to do with my lungs, he explained. The snake hunters were in the middle of the wilderness at the time, roughly a mile from where their pickup truck was parked. So that's a long way to walk if you're having a heart attack.
And you got a 6-foot snake you got to deal with, too.
That's crazy.
6-foot rattlesnake. Yes. Not just like a black racer or something that's not going to kill you.
On the way, it said he was stumbling and he was falling. It seemed like a 5-mile walk, and it was hard to breathe.
Ooh.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I've never been in that situation, but I can certainly imagine that.
You got to go piggyback.
I have been hiking, and I tell you what, that mile, a mile on the sidewalk and a mile up and down hills and over creeks and over rocks is a big difference.
Right.
He says he asked God to help him down the mountain, and I just wanted to see my wife and my kids one more time. And I would just like to point out that he wasn't blindfolded and rolling around in a patch of snakes when this happened to prove God was real. No. He just got into a bad situation and he prayed for God to help him out.
There are churches who are into that,
Yeah.
But he was not a member of one of those as far as we know.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Crow was able to make the hike down, and Lutsky drove him to the hospital. Doctors ran tests for the next 5 hours and discovered he had a heart attack about 20 minutes after capturing the snake. At that point, I became very scared, Crow said, about hearing the diagnosis.
Wow.
Crow was taken to an Oklahoma heart hospital early Sunday morning and was prepped for surgery to repair a blockage in his heart. He later learned that one of the main arteries in the heart was 99% blocked. That's crazy. While the other was 36% blocked.
Wow. While
Crow's heart attack was most likely not caused from snake hunting, it very well could have been the adrenaline that was released and sparked the symptoms. Crow thanked his family, friends, and followers for their well wishes, joking about the 6-foot snake being the trigger of his heart attack.
Wow.
Another video showed a fatigued Crow moments before the medical emergency. "Okay, folks, it gets serious in this video. We catch a couple good..." This is him quoted, by the way.
Yeah.
"We catch a couple good snakes, but if you look, you can see in body language the heart attack starting that Dennis Crow is having. He starts appearing fatigued here. A side note, the snake that I'm holding strikes and almost nails me in the arm." Phew, the group wrote in a Tuesday post. That's confusing. I may just go ahead and cut that out. "As for now, the great snake hunt will come to a better end until I can mend back up," Crew wrote on his snake hunting Facebook page.
Oh, he's got a snake hunting Facebook page.
He does. Other snakes Crow and his friends captured Saturday will be displayed at the Apache Rattlesnake Festival, April 19th to the 22nd. So that's a 3-day festival.
Well, my question, and this is the same for the Opplin, is after the rattlesnake rodeo, what do we do with the rat? I mean, do we just kill them and turn them all into boots and belts and hat bands and stuff?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happens.
I mean, we're just not letting them go.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
You're not going to round up all them rattlesnakes and then just take them to the nearest kindergarten.
Which I'm not a snake killer, by the way. Some people will kill any snake they see. I'm not a snake killer. I'm a pro snake person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to own one. But we've caught one in the yard here. Last year had a few come up around.
Mm-hmm.
None of them were poisonous, but. Yeah, I think they have a vital role in our ecosystem, and we don't need to take them all out.
Well, I will say, if I come up on a poisonous one, he's going to be missing his head.
If I come up on
I want word to get out among the snakes. Stay away from that dude's house.
I'd say I haven't found a poisonous one on my property,
right.
And I don't know how I would do that having children or whatever.
Right. And I'll say I haven't. Maybe it's worked because I have found very few snakes at my house.
Yeah, right. Maybe they've gotten word.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk. If you get snakes on your property, we can talk about some ways to get rid of them that I know I can't really say on air, but there are ways that you can eliminate your snake problem, but I've never done that here.
Does it involve something that rhymes with snoff ball?
Yeah, it does. Well, we have a creek down below, got
Yeah.
woods back here and everything. So, that's just the way, but we've never had a big problem with them.
Right.
Had a few pine snakes and that little DKs that we caught last year, which is a little small one, out in the yard, which was kind of fun. We kept it for a couple of days and let it go for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Next article here. People may have seen this video on Facebook. It was rolling around on my timeline. So it's the vegans came to protest his restaurant. So this chef carved a deer leg in the window. The vegans planned their protest for the middle of the restaurant's busy dinnertime shift. The group of animal rights activists were incensed that the Antler Kitchen and Bar, which sounds like it could be in Alabama.
It really does. I had to double check when I read that.
Yeah.
I was like, are we sure this wasn't, in Walker County?
A local Vor restaurant in Toronto that highlights regional ingredients served foie de gras and farmed meat meant to run in the wild. So a group of them stood out front last week chanting, "You've got blood on your hands," and holding a banner that read "Murder" in hot pink lettering. And then came the counter protest. Michael Hunter, what an ironic name. Michael Hunter, a chef and co-owner of the restaurant, appeared in its window with a raw deer leg and a sharp knife. When he began to carve up the meat in full view of the protesters, some of whom later said they were disturbed for days, according to news reports. Hunter says, "I figured I'll show them. I'm going to have my own protest." The episode, which was captured on video by one of the protesters, has since drawn wide attention from local news outlets and social media.
I say good for him.
Yeah. The event page created by the activists for the protest has since been inundated with comments, mainly harshly critical of their cause. Didn't get the reaction they really were hoping for. The chef is an avid hunter, and though he is prohibited by regulations in Ontario from serving the wild meats he eats at home, like deer, duck, and wild turkey, the restaurant menus leans towards game and forage foods like mushrooms. Mm-hmm. The dust up began back in December when an employee at Antler Kitchen and Bar scribbled a slogan on the sandwich board for the restaurant's exterior that said, "Venison is the new kale."
And that made him mad.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you?
That sign upset Marini Ugar, an animal rights activist who runs a dog walking business. Wow. Which I will say, with millennials, they have a ton of dogs. If you're looking for a business avenue to get in, dog walking, doggy daycare, things like that, it's a big business avenue. Just for anybody listening, that's an aside. Just a business tip from a guy who ran a business in the ground before, so take it with a grain of salt.
Dogs love podcasts, by the way.
That's right.
So play Earth Oddity for
while
your
you're
dogs.
gone, yeah. So Ugar here did some research and said she took issue with the fact that the restaurant served foie de gras, or foie gras. The dish is made from the liver of ducks or geese, and it has long drawn complaints, as well as the impression that people were eating ethical meat there. So she was saying, you're serving this stuff ethically, but it's not really ethically because the process to make foie de gras is kind of what I think they fatten up the geese or stuff or something before they kill it, or I'm not sure exactly how that works.
All the meat I eat, I want them to fatten it up first.
Right, yeah. I want it to taste as good as I can
it's
get
unethical to serve meat that hasn't been fattened up first.
So she said it's very misleading because they're calling these animals wild animals, the deer and the boar, but they're actually being farmed. They're not living in the wild. They're just being bred and killed, like most things.
Most any meat you get from the supermarket.
The protest began small at first, and they grew louder and larger. And the protesters brought megaphones, and walk-in traffic to the restaurant began to suffer as a result. I just felt helpless, Hunter told the Globe and Mail.
So now they're not just a group of hippies standing outside being obnoxious anymore. They're actually hurting his business.
Yes.
You're right.
He says, "It's hurting our business. I hoped it would fizzle out and go away." The restaurant tried to promote vegan dishes on its menu, like mushroom yakitori and sweet potato gyoza, but the activists were not satisfied. The goal always is for restaurants to go fully vegan, Ugar told the Globe and Mail. To reduce the animals they kill, for me, isn't good enough. So on Friday, as a chance of murderer took off outside the business for at least the fourth time, Hunter developed a new plan. This is who we are and what we do, he said. They're offending us. I'm going to offend them. So I went and got a deer leg. The video, as you may have seen, or you can look it up, shows him cutting up the leg, slicing the red meat away from the bone as the protesters decry recently murdered deer.
Makes me hungry, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And they asked the police at the protest if what the chef is doing is legal, which I'll say as someone who's dealt with the food department, I think you have to have proper surfaces and everything to do all that on, but I don't know. Toronto police told the CTV News that they were called to the restaurant twice, but did not issue any charges or tickets. Despite what Hunter described as initial relief, he said he felt like he had to stand up for himself. He later came to regret the move, saying he felt like he played into the activist protest. Now here's my favorite part. Ugar told CTV News that Hunter's counter-protest had left her feeling sad for a few days.
Good.
He wanted to get us back, which I guess is easy to do. We're only there because we love animals. We were in shock. Ugar has offered to reduce the frequency of protests to once a month if the restaurant displays a sign in its window saying, "Attention, animals' lives are their right. Killing them is violent and unjust, no matter how it's done."
Oh, gosh.
Which I might agree to that, and then I would hang another sign below it that said, "But they're very tasty."
I would, you're better than me, because I would tell that lady, sure, I'll do that as soon as you take this pineapple and shove it up your rear end sideways. Then I'll hang that sign up in my restaurant.
This offer mirrors one made to a butcher shop in Berkeley, California, whose owners agreed to post a sign in a window after 4 months of protest by animal rights groups. Hunter has plans to introduce a vegan tasting menu and has invited Ugar to come foraging with him, but she's yet to respond to the offer. He says, "We stand by our restaurant's identity and the identity of myself as a chef. Our identity as a restaurant is well known throughout the city, as is our ethical farming and foraging initiatives." So it seems like this guy has tried to meet him in the middle as well as he can for somebody who has differing beliefs about how we should treat our animals and eat our animals.
And meanwhile, the Burger King down the street is just slapping them
out.
and wrapping them, and
out.
they care nothing about that.
No, right. Which personally, I don't either.
Right.
I don't want to go around torturing animals. I don't think anybody should torture animals, but I also really like to eat meat. So,
right.
Maybe I'm in the wrong there. I know that God has said we can eat meat, right. Certain meats and stuff. He doesn't say we have to. Now, I bring that up as well. You don't have to. We don't. There's nothing compelling us to do that. But it is a privilege that I think he granted us. If you look in the Old Testament there, but I don't think you should go around just killing an animal to kill it, right? I'm not a big hunter either. I have been hunting before, just not my thing.
Yeah, I don't believe animals should be tortured, but at the same time, it would be easier for me to listen to them and take them seriously if they could go to Africa and convince a tiger that eating meat is wrong and that they should be a vegan.
Or just convince a starving person that, hey, we have this delicious steak here, but you shouldn't eat it because it's wrong.
Right. I just feel like all the carnivores out there in the world, how come they get a pass?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, come on.
Because they're animals, They're animals.
But wouldn't they argue that so are we?
Yeah.
So why do the lions have the privilege of eating meat and I don't? I feel like I'm smarter than a lion.
Well, and I eat my steaks rare, so I'm not that different than a lion. So, which grosses people out if you ever order a rare steak. So I usually get medium rare just to keep the table happy. Because if you order rare, it's like, oh my gosh, how can you eat that? It's like, Still got the horns on it or whatever.
I like mine medium rare. That's how I like it.
Yeah.
But I have eat a rare steak.
Oh, yeah,
it does not bother me.
Me too.
At all.
Which a few of my friends may listen in Boy Scouts. We once had to cook a chicken, you know, for a wilderness survival, and we didn't know that you had to take out the guts of the chicken.
Oh man!
Yeah. So it cooked for hours and hours and hours with everything in it,
with all the good stuff still in
and
there.
we ended up eating it just about raw anyways. So we broke off the burnt parts on the outside. It's a wonder we didn't die. Yeah. But I made it through that, so I feel like I can make it through a few rare steaks here and there. But yeah, people, I don't know, you know, if you're into being a vegan, that's fine with me. And I'm actually happy that you've chosen that. You know, it doesn't affect me in any way.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, right.
But when you stand outside of a dude's business and you're trying to shut him down because of what you think,
right?
You know, come on.
Well,
that's not cool.
Maybe you should sit down with a dude and try to convince him. You know, like, hey, this is, you know, you're hurting innocent animals or whatever you think. You know, so I don't know. I would say, you know.
And then my recommendation is, again, I would like to see you get on a plane and go to Africa and sit down with a tiger and have a long discussion with the tiger why he shouldn't eat meat and why he shouldn't eat you. Yeah, frankly.
Right. Yeah. No, because it doesn't discriminate. A tiger is vicious.
We did a story about lions eating poachers.
That's right.
Earlier in this year.
Yeah, they don't really care, so they're kind of rough.
Well, speaking of animal rights, people, the next story here, quote, animal lover killed a heron to save a duckling by ripping open the larger bird's stomach to free the prey.
Well, all right.
And this is truly an ethical conundrum.
Yeah.
If you love animals, which one do you say? Which one do you love more?
Yeah.
Which animal here is more equal than the other?
Apparently baby duck to this guy.
Apparently baby ducks.
Yeah, which they are cute.
And we do tend to... Cute animals, whatever we deem cute, they get, they're higher on the food chain for some reason.
That's why we eat so much chicken. Chickens in general are not cute animals.
No,
they're basically like vegetables with legs.
You see them running around; they're barely sentient. Sentient,
yes.
You know.
Yes, they do that cool thing where their head will stay still while you move their body, but that's about their only talent.
Right.
And they'll wake you up in the morning. And anyway, I'm sorry, I don't want to get on a whole chicken train here.
As the expression nature red in tooth and claw suggests, there is a cruel inevitability to life and death in the animal world.
It's a circle of life, baby.
So quite what a Welsh animal lover was thinking when he tried to rescue a tiny duckling which had been eaten by a heron is open to question. More puzzling still is the fact that in order to save it from its natural fate, he cut open the heron and pulled the terrified duckling from its stomach.
Wow.
So the effect was rather predictable to kill the heron, although the duckling survived relatively unscathed.
Okay.
So he did save this duckling. I'm sure to the duckling this was like his knight in shining
ever.
armor,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Thought he was gone, and then all of a sudden he's snatched from the jaws of life, or the jaws of death, quite literally. The elderly man was arrested by North Wales police, but later released with a caution. North Wales Police Rural Crime Unit describes the man as vulnerable and elderly on Twitter without revealing the name of the culprit or when and where it took place. Officer said it involved a male who was cautioned for killing a heron, adding he had witnessed it eating a newly born duckling, so he decided to kill the heron in order to rescue the duckling from its stomach.
Wow.
So I guess he was out there and he saw this happen and he was like, not in my forest.
I'd like to know how he killed it. Does it say? Did I miss that part?
I'm guessing he used a knife. It says he cut its stomach open.
Yeah, that's what I guess so.
Which, I mean, he caught the heron. So
that's quite a feat, I would think.
I guess the heron, they're probably not afraid of people.
Yeah, I guess
because they're protected.
Yeah.
So imagine he's probably just thinking, whatever, just another day.
Takes a picture.
Boy, that sure was a good breakfast. And then next thing you know,
getting ripped open.
That thing wasn't. He probably thought that guy was going to take a picture or a selfie with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Next thing you know, he's getting ripped open. Strangely, he actually did rescue the duckling alive from the dead heron's stomach, but obviously he was then left with a dead heron. You couldn't make this up. Some people responded to the tweet by criticizing the police's decision to let the man off with a caution.
Yeah.
The heron is a protected species under the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981, with fines or prison sentences available for anyone killing or attempting to kill one, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Lee Dingen, a conservationist and trustee with the Wader Quest Shorebird Charity, said, quote, "Utterly ridiculous, not too elderly to kill an apparently protected and not to mention formidable bird. The heron is the vulnerable one. Decisions like this are a major part of the reason why wildlife crime is not taken seriously. If he had stabbed someone, would he be prosecuted? Yes, more than likely he would."
Yeah, I would think so.
Jane Kennedy, who describes herself on Twitter as, quote, "passionate about wildlife," end quote, added, quote, "Clearly a protected bird has been illegally killed on this occasion, so a crime has been committed. North Wales Police said, these decisions are never taken lightly and a number of factors are addressed. This was a vulnerable elderly man who confessed voluntarily to the action with no previous convictions." So they basically let him off with a warning because he was trying to save the cute little duck. And then I guess some people are for it, and then some people are like, the heron was more as a protected species. It was more important than this cute little duck.
Well, yeah, you can't kill a bald eagle because it eats something you don't like.
Which I don't want to lock an old man up in jail, but I do think he should get a little slap on the wrist or something.
Right. Need to do something for him. Make him build some, I don't know, heron houses or something, whatever they need.
Yeah, give him some community service. Teach him a lesson.
He sounds like an animal lover, and our next story here definitely has an animal lover in it as well. This comes to us via the Huffington Post. The headline is "Woman Arrested After Raunchy Come On to Easter Bunny." A disapproving witness reported lewd acts on the costume creature, police said. And I'm just going to read this first line from the article exactly as it's written. "Trying to make out with the Easter Bunny isn't exactly appropriate behavior, especially when kids are watching. But that's what police said an Ohio woman did." Once again, proving rednecks exist outside of the South. LaDonna Hughes was 54 years old, way too old to be doing this.
How is this not a Florida story?
Yeah, right. Was arrested on Saturday after police said she lewdly propositioned and grabbed an Easter bunny working at the Carousel Park in Mansfield. When Hughes posed for a photo with a rabbit, witnesses said she inappropriately grabbed the costume character and made suggestive comments within earshot of families at the indoor park. So someone called the Mansfield police. We received a report from a citizen, an unusual report from a citizen, that called us to the Richland Carousel Park of an intoxicated female doing some lewd acts on the Easter bunny. Assistant Chief Keith Porch told the TV station WLW. Upon arrival, officers found Hughes on the carousel, the station reported. And according to an arrest report obtained by the Smoking Gun, officers said Hughes seemed to be drunk with slurred speech, and bloodshot eyes, and a generally wobbly demeanor. Hughes was charged with public drunkenness and booked into the county jail. She was released 8 hours later, according to WLW. Police did not charge her with assaulting the Easter bunny. Easter bunny may have been into it. I don't know. Hughes' Facebook page seemed amazingly prophetic, featuring a comment that she can be a handful, but most of the time I'm just an idiot. So she just apparently really into the Easter spirit, likes the Easter bunny. It looks from the screen caps here, which I assume there's probably a video that I didn't watch. She's performing a dance for the Easter bunny.
Yeah.
And I guess, she may have been fine then, but when you start saying a bunch of suggestive stuff around kids, and you're going,
I look forward to the Easter bunny outing her on Twitter with the hashtag #MeToo or the #MeToo hashtag.
That's right. Different strokes for different folks.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I mean, number one, you drink a little too much, so
that's true.
Yeah.
In which, furries, that's a thing.
It is a thing. It is. Not one that I understand, but it's definitely a thing.
And when people are little kids are standing around. Come on.
Yes.
You got to have some self-control.
You need some self-control. Yeah, I don't know. At some point you would think in her 8-hour jail stay, she was like, that was probably a bad move right there. Maybe I should have just enjoyed my drunken day at the indoor carousel. But, she didn't. She had to get frisky with the Easter Bunny. So, whatever. She's an animal lover, like I said.
Yes. Okay, well, we've been talking about animal lovers and animal rights activists. Now we're fixing to talk about, what would this be?
This tree hugger.
A tree lover. A plants rights activist, so to speak.
Right.
And this is a Florida story. This comes from the AP. Florida woman marries a 100-year-old tree hoping to save it.
Ooh. But I would say that headline right there will be used by everyone who claimed that gay marriage would be a slippery slope, that's going to lead us into people wanting to marry. Like, I'll tell you what, I told y'all he's going to be marrying trees next and stuff. So
Here we go.
I was just saying, that's probably already been posted on somebody's Facebook timeline, by the way.
It starts. Fort Myers, Florida. Karen Cooper was ready to go out on a limb to save her beloved, so she got married to a tree.
Okay.
Specifically, a giant fiscus that's shaded Snell Family Park in Fort Myers for more than a century. The tree became the center of a neighborhood controversy when city staff began discussing cutting it down last year. Cooper, who lives nearby, began mobilizing to save it. The news press reports effort that culminated with the waterfront nuptials Saturday, complete with flowers, music, and a tree-decorated wedding cake, and a canine ring bearer named Little Bear.
Okay. I'm sure this lady's a piece of work. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a lovely Saturday afternoon.
Nice ceremony.
Yeah. Though rooted on city property, some of the Indian Laurel's 8,000 square foot canopy and root system extends to a neighboring lot for sale for $1 million.
Okay.
After a site visit last December, the city's Public Works Department okayed the tree's removal after the beautification board had been notified. In February, the board discussed spending $13,000 to cut down this sprawling tree and replacing it with smaller Geiger trees.
Okay.
I'm not a tree expert removal guy, but I feel like I could do that. Yeah, I could do a better deal.
It's a little steep. I'll do it for 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might take me a while. But I'll get it chopped down and removed for you. Once neighbors got wind of those plans, the protest started. Phone calls, posters, flyers, and most recently, Cooper's wedding. I think a bunch of kids walked out of school, too. During which she had several other white-dressed women vowed to honor and protect it before some 50 onlookers.
Wow.
And also, I'd like to point out, it says onlookers, not guests.
Yeah, onlookers.
Which, if I was there, I would have been in attendance.
My curiosity would have got the best of me, too.
Cooper got the idea from a group of women who've been protesting deforestation in Mexico by marrying trees. I did not know that was a thing.
Me either.
She said, so I saw that and I thought, oh, we should marry the fiscus tree. Kind of giggle, but everyone said that it's a really good idea. So I said, okay, let's do it. Let's marry a tree.
Let's marry a tree.
She staged the wedding 3 days ahead of Tuesday's Beautification Advisory Board meeting when the tree's fate is on the agenda. To be discussed, last month's report by certified arborist Rick Joyce, who gave the tree a thorough checkup. He determined it's in fairly robust health and could withstand judicious pruning.
Okay.
In an email, city spokeswoman Stephanie Schaefer wrote, the city is moving forward to save the Snell Park fiscus tree. Every day, city employees care for the trees and plants that give our city a sense of community and shared history. But even though the city appears to be backing away from its initial plans to cut down the fiscus, its fate still remains uncertain, Cooper points out. Ward 5 Councilman Fred Burson, the only city official to attend the ceremony, vowed to help save the tree, in front of which he'd posed with his family for a campaign photo.
Yeah,
so he's trying to get votes.
Yeah, he's up for re-election, I guarantee you.
If we don't get it settled at the beautification board meeting, I'll take it to the city council, he said. Cooper and her tree guardians will be there cheering him on. If they cut down this tree, I'm going to be a widow, she said.
Well, I would like to reach out right now in earnest to the people, the city council of Florida, wherever that is, and tell them that they can contact a guy named Harvey Updike, and this tree problem will go away. So, I mean, your tree problem, you won't have a tree problem anymore. That's all I'm going to say. He's pretty famous around these parts for poisoning a couple of trees. If you're unfamiliar, if you're listening to this in the Philippines or Britain somewhere.
People in Florida cannot be unfamiliar with this story.
Yeah, no, yeah. The Florida people know who he is. I think he's living in Louisiana last I checked. So
in hiding.
Yeah, well, he still owes like the University of Auburn a bunch of money and stuff, and he's vowed to never pay them and all that. He's very defiant.
I would like to have been at the ceremony when they're like, "And you, Fiscus Tree, you take this lady to be your lawfully wedded wife."
I mean, there's so many jokes in my head that I can't say because it's a family show. Yeah. But I'm assuming they didn't go on a honeymoon, right? So to speak. And they've probably not consummated the marriage. So, I don't know.
I hope not. Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. That's a family park, they say. You don't want to be doing any of that noise there. So
they definitely didn't travel.
No. She didn't take him anywhere. No, it had to be done on site.
Okay, we didn't get any reviews this week.
No, we didn't. We didn't. And I was thinking, I don't know what's wrong with you people. Maybe everybody who's listened that can give a review can give a review.
I think they have.
Yeah.
But let me point this out. If you've already left us a review, but you still want to, make us feel good, or maybe win a prize, maybe just try to give us a little, boost of confidence, you can go and redo your review.
Yeah, right.
And it's not going to leave both of them up there. But if your review was, good podcast, 5 stars, you can just, if you want,
you can edit it.
You can put something else in there. Right.
Yes. And, take this opportunity now also before we get into this to plug our sponsor, Cajun Curl.
Yes.
Bayou Blended Spice. Great. CajunCurl.com. Like I said, Hudson got a bag of chips, sprinkled it on it, put a Ziploc bag, took it to school with him, gave it to his friends. The kid loves it. I love it. We've been eating it on popcorn. We've been eating it on a lot of stuff. So, definitely check those guys out. Like I said, CajunCurl.com. They're definitely, it'll be worth your while to, if you're definitely into cooking, anything like that. If you're using Tony's or something now, it's like 100% better. So, than any other type of spice like that I've ever had. So, if you're planning a crawfish boil, crawfish time this time of year, you need to get some for sure. So.
I've had it on a baked potato. Well, I actually had it on baked potatoes twice last week. Personally, I don't know about you. I'll eat any baked potato because baked potatoes are awesome. Yeah, they're one of the best dishes you can make.
I'm one of the biggest baked potato fans there are. They don't have a bigger fan than me.
And I like it with cheese, bacon, a little bit of ranch dressing, and Lowry seasoning salt. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. Until last week when I tried Cajun Curl.
Changed your life.
And Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Original Spice has now completely taken the spot. Like, if anybody out there wants a bottle of Lowry so that I don't need it anymore,
right.
You can have it because I want the Bayou Blended Original Spice on my potatoes from here on out.
If you're cooking a pot roast for after your Easter service, family's coming over for dinner, you need to throw some of that on it, But,
I've got some ribs in the freezer that I need to be. I'm going to be cooking here pretty soon. And I think I'm going to try a rub. Yeah, I would see how that works out.
Man, it's great.
It really is good.
That's no joke at all. So
I personally like hot stuff. My wife does not.
Right.
So this is actually good for us. It's also low sodium.
Yeah, right.
And it's got just a little bit of heat to it, but it's not overpowering.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know how you eat some spicy stuff, and it's just all you taste is heat, and it's like a painful process. I've never understood people that are like that.
Right?
Like I carry my bottle of hot sauce with me and all that. I don't understand that. But it's got a lot of flavor. It doesn't overpower you with the heat. Like I've never like it when I finish anything that I've put it on.
It's like it tastes spicy, but it doesn't feel spicy.
Boom, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is.
Yeah, Squirrel, if you're listening, you need to put that on the website. Yeah. tastes spicy, doesn't feel spicy. I love it.
Marketing genius.
That's perfect right there. Well, anyways, check it out, CajunCurl.com. You like their Facebook page, share it, with your friends, let everybody know. Order your container today.
I don't know how this works, but if you're in a grocery store, maybe ask the manager, hey, do you carry this?
That's a good idea.
If enough of y'all go bug some, grocery store manager, maybe they'll start carrying it.
Yes. Yeah. Don't bug my dad.
Yeah.
He may already have it in there. I don't know. I'm just saying, Dad's got a hard job. He's had a hard job his whole life. Don't bug him. Be very nice about it. But bug every other grocery manager.
Everybody else.
You can ask my father politely,
right.
but don't bug him about it, all right? The man works hard for a living, and he always has. And I appreciate that about him. Just now that I'm saying it on air, and I know he'll listen, so appreciate the fact that my father's a hard-working man. I didn't always appreciate that, and so don't bug my dad. That's all I'm saying. Now that
you're a hard-working man,
I understand
it all
now.
makes sense now.
Really, no, really, it does. Really, when they handed me Thomas, my oldest kid, never held a baby before.
Right.
When they handed him into the hospital, my first thought wasn't, I'm a father. I have this life that I'm partially responsible for. It was that I need to apologize to my dad. That's the truth, man. I mean, I was like, wow, I treated this dude horrible when I was a teenager, and he did not deserve it one bit. Because I understood his mindset that,
totally.
It blew my mind, really. It does, like I could see the Matrix or something, and I was like, man, I should definitely apologize to him for just being a butt sometimes. I didn't make it easy on him, and he's a good dude.
Right.
Like nobody dislikes Eddie Long, so. Which, by the way, he does our opening intro. If anybody didn't know, if you're looking for voiceover work, call my dad. He doesn't really do that for a living, but he could probably get into it. So
he would be good at it.
Yeah, right. He'll read your commercials. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'll get off track in a heartbeat. Watch it.
That's true. We did get one lone email.
Oh yeah,
from Goose out there.
Oh, Goose.
Goose.
I wonder where Maverick is.
He wrote us in a list of fascinating questions. And since we're going kind of long, we probably won't go over all these, but maybe we'll do a few now and we'll do a few next week.
Right,
maybe.
yeah. A few points to ponder.
If con is the opposite of pro, then what is the opposite of progress?
I'd say Congress.
Absolutely. That's clever.
That's
clever.
Definitely true.
Do you yawn in your sleep?
I don't know. I've always been asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. I've always wondered this myself. Why do British people never sound British when they sing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a very
question.
Good
point. Yes. They lose their accent.
Yeah. What would happen if you put a lightsaber in water? Would it
electrocute you, or whatever?
I don't know. Well, I don't think it would electrocute you because isn't it use the force to power the crystal?
I guess so, yeah.
The Star Wars nerds right in.
Yeah.
Because I'm fascinated.
I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I mean, I've seen the Star Wars, but I'm not a... I just know that Jar Jar Binks is the best.
There's a Jedi named Kit Fisto.
Okay.
And he was a master in underwater lightsaber swordsmanship or lightsabership or whatever.
Huh.
So I guess it would work like normal, but I guess it would heat up the water around you. So you probably need some kind of force shield around you to protect you from the boiling hot water.
I don't know.
Google Kit Fisto.
I will. I feel like that's not a safe Google,
Dude, that's disgusting.
Google Kit Fisto Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi. Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Goose, I bet you had no idea you were going to get those kind of insights when you wrote that question. And also it says the Swiss must have been very confident in their chances of victory if they included a corkscrew on their army knife. So excellent.
That's very true.
Just a few thoughts. Keep up the good show. Bigfoot is real,
Boom.
and I will find him, and he will stop humanity from putting pineapple on pizza. Goose out. So thank you, Goose.
Yes, thank you very much, Goose.
You have been listening to the Earth Oddity Podcast. We thank you so much for the download wherever you get us. You can follow us on Twitter. We are @_Earth Oddity. You can follow us on Instagram
Yes, at Earth_oddity_podcast.
And you can always go like us on Facebook.
Yes.
That costs you nothing.
Nothing. And a lot of fun.
You can email the show. We are earthoddity@planetmail.net.
Right.
And you don't need a reason to email us in. Just like Goose here, send us in. Give us something to talk about.
Yeah, give us whatever. And I'd say we did go live for a little bit in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of the show, so you can watch that.
And please go leave us an iTunes review.
Yes, please. Very much so, please.
And we will see you next week.
All right. Tell them bye, Libby.
This has been a very odd production. Thanks for listening.